What's up guys, it's Unders, and in today's video I'm going to break down the GUI for the Lil FrEQ EQ from Empirical Labs and Softube.
No deal, I'm Jaws on the beat, I got flow that kills. Do my thing with a few G's, Lauren Hill.
When we load up, by default, this is where we're at. And let's just make it a little larger for this. So down here in the right-hand corner, we've got the stretchy ability. Control-wise, signal flow-wise, it's pretty obvious for the most part, right? We're running along here into the DS and then across our bands and to our out. However, it can be modified with a couple of options, but it shows what's going on, which is super useful. So let's have a look at that. By default, 5 in, 5 on the out. Simple enough. And what you can't unfortunately do is link the two together. The first thing that I'd like to have really nicely, so when you moved one, it automatically gained the other one up. Reset with options, so you can always just bonk, quickly reset it. And we've got some nice metering here on the left-hand side, so we can see what's coming in.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is
and what's
cold
going out.
Winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of...
Honestly, the only time you're going to really want to dial it is if you've got a really hot signal that's repeatedly getting into the high here, or you've made some EQ adjustments that mean you're going to be clipping here and you need to gain it back just a touch. So from the in, we go straight into the high pass. We do to enabling it, much like something like an SSL channel strip. Everything needs to be enabled or disabled. Green light, enabled for most cases. There's a couple of slightly different options. So just because we've put the high pass in, it's going to be here on the 30. We can just use these little tappers to make it go along. And it's a pretty steep cut off. We can also just tap on where we want it to cut away.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness.
And there's not too much low end in the vocal for us to really lose. Just leaving it on 30 though, it's going to cut out anything too dodgy down there in any cases, and it's almost unnoticeable. In this case, we can probably bring it up to 80 quite nicely, just to roll off the low end of that vocal.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger.
And just because we can, we're going to move into the next section. We've got the de-esser. Now, by default, the de-esser is always engaged, all right? The position for it in the chain is changed via here. And when we do click it, we can see we've now got high frequencies going into that. Okay, so that means here, and we can see the de-esser is also enabled over here. Look, tap position again, and the shelf's going in. So it's now flashing over here for us, and the shelf is now the thing going into the de-esser. Let's just leave it on the high frequency for the moment by just adjusting the threshold.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness and leaving a whisper. Bring my love back.
Now I've de-essed the individual tracks to come onto this sum, so we're going to go pretty harsh for it to catch anything at that higher frequency. However, if we bring it down to sort of the 6K range, I think we'll probably catch some more.
There we
go.
Frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness and leaving a whisper. Bring my love back.
And you can hear there, it's capturing the keywords.
Sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger. Bring my love back. I really want that in a heartbeat, but there's no going back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you.
Now we can mix this up and switch this little guy on. This is a high frequency limiter. This is a bit like pushing something into tape saturation. Putting this switch on gives a different sound.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness and leaving a whisper. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger. Bring my love back, I really want that. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness and leaving a whisper.
I think we're benefiting there from that little bit of de-essing. It's actually taking out quite a lot in some instances, even though we're only -3 dB, which is great. It's definitely not negatively affecting the sound in any way. Okay, so moving on to our EQ across the bottom. First off, we've got shelf. You know, very simple. We can high shelf.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to
and we've got a low in the same respect.
There's a linger, longing for the darkness and leaving.
In this case, I don't think we really need them, so we'll turn it off. We'll just disable that. We can link the de-esser to the shelf as well. Low frequency, I think we can maybe do with a slight boost. I'm guessing it's going to be around the 300 hertz region, just to bring a bit of body out in the vocal here.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter, frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness and leaving a whisper. Bring my love back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold down in winter,
narrow it a little bit.
frozen to the core, thoughts of you, there's a linger. Bring my love back. I really want that in a heartbeat, but there's no going back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold out in winter, frozen
Just
to the
brings the body
core.
up a
Thoughts
little
of
bit more.
you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness to leave in a whisper.
And we're going to
Bring
narrow
my
this
love
band.
back.
And I
Heart is
think
on my sleeve, love
around
is
the
cold out in
500 region, there's
winter,
going to be a little
frozen
bit we
to
can
the
bring out
core.
here.
Thoughts of
I'm
you,
going to
there's a
boost it to find it
linger.
first.
Bring my love back. I really want that in a heartbeat, but there's no going back. Heart is on
There.
my sleeve, love is cold out in
We can
winter,
just
frozen to
dial
the
that back
core.
just a
Thoughts of
touch.
you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness to leave in a whisper. Bring my love back.
Let's just A and B it for a moment and see how we feel about it. We'll do one section of 4 bars off, bring it in, and then we'll put it in context.
Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold out in winter, frozen to the core. Thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness to leave in a whisper. Bring my love back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold out in winter, frozen to the core. Thoughts of you, there's a linger. Bring my love back. I really want that in a heartbeat, but there's no going back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold out in winter, frozen to the core. Thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness to leave in a whisper. Bring my love back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold out in winter, frozen to the core. Thoughts of you, there's a linger. Bring my love back. I really want that in a heartbeat, but there's no going back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold out in winter, frozen to the core. Thoughts of you, there's a linger, longing for the darkness to leave in a whisper. Bring my love back. Heart is on my sleeve, love is cold out in winter.
It's really nice. I like what it's doing. It is making it a little bit louder in some key areas because we've got that low boost of about 2 dB. What we could do is just gain it back ever so slightly on the out. Overall, find it to be a really musical EQ. These curves here, particularly when it's fully pushed out and we've got a nice wide Q, they just sound really, really nice. Almost like reminiscent of a Pultec for me, except we've got so much more flexibility in this chain. I can see myself heavily using this EQ, especially on vocal channels going forward. Hope that's been helpful for you, help you understand the signal flow of it and the use of the de-essing and the high frequency limiter. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.